Guys, welcome back to the Independent Investor Channel. My name is Ryan. I'm going to talk through this video about why I love the Vanguard ETFs and really why you should too. This is really a great way for new investors with no experience necessary to seek their exposure to the stock market and do so in a way that allows them instant diversification. I'm going to incorporate a lot of different things in this video. I'm going to show you what ETFs I'm personally invested in by putting some screenshots up on the screen now and show you how I seek out my exposure through ETFs to both domestic and international markets for myself and my spouse. I'm going to drop you into the M1 Finance portfolio that I have and show you how I seek some exposure to the sector specialty ETFs. And at the end of this video, you're really going to understand that this is a great way, a very low cost way of getting exposure to the stock market, getting that diversification, and really having a lot more control over your money. And I think the prospects of having more control over your money really does relate with a lot of people out there right now that's looking to take more control over their financial future. With that, I'm going to drop you into M1 Finance, guys. Please enjoy the video. All right, guys, super cool. I thought it would be awesome to drive home the point of why I love Vanguard ETFs, to drop you into my Sector Spider ETF portfolio. This is on the Vanguard site as specialty ETFs. This basically allows you to invest in all 11 sectors individually. And this is really somewhat experimental. This isn't this isn't a common way of investing, but it made all the sense to me using this style of investing on M1 Finance. This portfolio is completely passive in nature. I fund this every couple weeks with about $25. This is indicative of a beginner's portfolio. As you can see here, it's up 13.5%. And just in short, I'm extremely excited to see where this goes as the market recovers. I invested in this starting of March of 2019, and as you can see the graph here, it really slowly performed over time, started to pay some dividends and give me a little bit of capital appreciation over time. This small bump up here was a $500 inject that I put into the account, and then it continued to go up and up and up. So you can see the trend here. If I were to draw a best fit line in here, you can see how these do nothing but just slowly go up over time. No experience necessary, full diversification with the opportunity of some dividend income to boot in these sector-specific ETFs. And you can see here, obviously, this is where the February downturn started. And right about toward the bottom here is where I actually put a double up in this account. I transferred over $2,500 and boom, was able to manufacture this back up to a level. I thought it was a great buying opportunity. So you can see here, if you draw this line all the way back, it almost drew close to where I actually started the account. And drew down pretty good, and boom, funded the account up. Didn't get a perfect entry on it, got this little blip here, but it's been off to the races ever since then. But if we cruise down here and take a look at these, this is just an awesome low expense way of entering into the entire stock market and being able to use M1 Finance in a very unique way. I'm able to invest in the sectors and weight the sectors in a way that fits my style, and I just think that's incredible. So you can see here I'm back up 32% in technology. Healthcare is the next one that I wanted. And what I mean by that is I wanted 14% of my total portfolio and 13% in healthcare and 12% in financials, 9% in discretionary. So I've had a lot of people come to the channel and ask me, Ryan, how do I allocate my portfolio? Take 100% of a pie and split up that pie in the percentage that you want it. That is allocation 101. And this is just a prime example of how I've taken this M1 Finance pie and broken it up and split it up, the 100% split up across the 11 sectors, okay? So 14, 13, 12, and on down the line, my lowest allocation is 6%. This is just an awesome way to invest. Just another way that I use the Vanguard ETFs to my benefit. This is just one of many accounts that I have. And thought it would demonstrate my point perfectly to show how I get access to each of the individual sectors in this specific sector portfolio on M1 Finance, guys. This is just a model here within the Vanguard's website. I'm looking at the S&P 500 ETF, and you can see here one of the main benefits as to why I invest in these ETFs is the low cost of ownership. These are very inexpensive investing products, guys. It just doesn't get any better than this. You can see here this S&P 500 has an expense ratio of 0.03. To get a comparable product, you would need to accept an expense ratio of close to 1. If you don't believe me, check some of the mutual funds that you're paying for, okay? Some of the large cap mutual funds. If you're at 0.94, you can invest in this passive cap-weighted ETF for 0.03%. And you guys know that the flagship niche of my channel is to do everything that we can do to get the best, most efficient way of exposure to the stock market with the lowest expense out there. And so just one of the other benefits, other than just being inexpensive, is it's an alternative investment strategy than just going with a financial planner over time. Financial planners usually are going to run anywhere from 1 to 3% management fee. And that can make a huge difference over time. So being inexpensive and being an alternative to the financial planners is just another great benefit to these ETFs. All of these statistics are available for you guys. Part of my awareness message on the Independent Investor channels to show you where to find information on your own. You always want to ground truth and validate everything that I'm displaying through the YouTube channel. But this says a lot. Hypothetical investment of $10,000 would have been worth well over $30,000. Now it would have taken a little leg down here with the recent volatility in the market. But this right here, this is a hypothetical growth of $10,000. But you don't need any experience at all to invest in a fund like this. Furthermore, it provides you the upfront diversification that a new investor should be seeking in the stock market. This gets you that experience and exposure to 508 different companies. The top 10 holdings are represented here with Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, which is Google, Amazon, Facebook, Berkshire, and down the line. If you wanted to come in here and research all of the holdings within this, all the information is readily available right here on the Vanguard's website. That's just another reason why I love these Vanguard ETFs. Here's a breakdown of your portfolio composition. This shows you the actual areas of exposure within the S&P 500. So that actually gives you the breakdown or the percentage of breakdown within the S&P 500 that are actual exposure rates within this particular fund. So what a great way of seeking out your exposure to the market in the very best, lowest cost method, and doing so by gaining what is the most important aspect of any portfolio, and that's upfront diversification within owning this fund. This method of investing, guys, make no mistake about it, it applies to the masses, okay? Anybody who is interested in investing but just doesn't know how could come on to this listing of Vanguard ETFs, or any ETF for that matter. I tend to focus on Vanguard as it's really one of the lowest cost ETFs on the market. So I typically try to streamline the message a little bit because I know a lot of investors, new investors, will come on and really just trust my awareness piece. I really want to make sure and emphasize that you guys are doing your own homework on this, but I think you could probably trip and fall into any of these good quality assets and succeed over the long term. Now you can see here that some of these are denoted that they're the Vanguard's flagship ETFs here, which kind of helps differentiate between this long list. But I do insist that new investors can have very little to no experience at all and jump into this. And I feel like that's a huge benefit of Vanguard ETFs, is that it gives a new investor all the control over their own money. Guys, ask yourself, how much control do you really have in your 401k? Or is it something you just blindly invest in every single month, hoping that it's going to be where you need it to be when you retire? That's a huge benefit to self-directed investing. And I think a lot of people, even though they may be a little hesitant with the lack of experience that they have, will be absolutely turned on by the prospects of self-directed investing, because they can come onto a website like this and invest in all of these great ETFs that we talk about all the time. Look at that. Even with the recent downturn, 11.69 rate of return over the last 10 years for the S&P 500. Down here, VTI, which is what we talk about all the time, just over 6%. That's giving you exposure to about 3,600 different companies. And if you just scroll through here, you're getting your mid-cap exposure. You're getting your small cap. Look at some of these small cap blend here at almost 7%. Small cap growth at 7.67%. And then finally, the sector specialty ETFs. There's your international stuff. And I'm going to show you guys what exposures I have in my 5 ETFs and the 3 ETFs that I have in each of my self-directed Roth IRAs to make it really hit home for you. And then finally, at the bottom of this page, you've got all of your 11 sectors. I've already showed you guys on the M1 Finance how I go about strategically entering into each of these sectors. But look at these guys. These funds have been around for going on 20 years. Look at this. Rates of return per year, average 6%, 8%, 9%. Right? This one's a little tough. We know energy's been beating us up, but it's still in the positive, and this does not account for the dividend yield on these. This is just capital appreciation year over year, 9% in healthcare, right? Industrials over 7%. Look at information technology. That's year over year performance of over 10%. Those results just cannot be argued with, especially if you're a new investor and you're like, man, I like how Ryan grabs his real estate exposure from here. Look at that, 7% there. Look at the utilities, for crying out loud, guys, over 9%. And almost a 4% yield, and you wonder why I own this VPU within my Roth IRA. So with that, guys, I'm going to kick you back to YouTube and complete the video. I really hope you enjoyed this review of why I love the Vanguard ETFs. So guys, thanks. Welcome back to YouTube. We've come back out of the Vanguard's ETF page. Really hope you enjoyed me just showing you where this information is, showing you how I seek out my exposure to the stock market using the Vanguard ETFs. It's one of those things that can appeal to the masses. Anybody can do this. You really don't need a lot of experience. You just need a little bit of wherewithal and awareness through what we provide on the channel as far as talking through some of these products, what they could mean for you, what type of exposure you should be looking to get for yourself. These products are great. They give you that really high quality exposure to the stock market at the lowest expense. And one thing I will add is that this provides those self-directed investors with that alternative to going in and seeking out exposure to investing through the services of a financial planning institution. I think the prospects of gaining control of your own money, guys, is extremely appealing, and I would encourage each and every one of you guys out there that are hesitant to the prospects of investing on your own to recalibrate your compass and look into how rewarding this can be. Guys, if it's your first time to the channel, make sure and hit the subscribe button for me. Leave your comments at the bottom of the video. Share the message with anybody out there that you know maybe doesn't have a lot of experience in the market but wants to get started. Bring them onto the channel. Share the message with those folks. We do a lot to bring awareness to what the stock market has to offer and how rewarding it can be. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the video, and good luck in your investment future.